probably saw the execution of a man in Minnesota, and you probably heard the excuse that they gave for the execution. Well, this is something I had talked about when they were bombing those boats coming off of Venezuela. And they were saying that it were drug boats, nobody seen not one lick of drugs. But they were bombing the drug boats and killing these people they were basically fishermen on these boats, trying to justify the buildup. The same way they built up with those Navy ships in the Caribbean. It's the same way they built up when they brought all those ICE agents into Minnesota. Same thing all over again. I said they would do what they did over there. They would lie their way through it, and then they're going to come over here and do the same thing to people here. But it's not only the beginning of that, because they got to go after the Democratic leadership, because that's going to be the enemy of the left. And this is what it is. I mean, the fact that it's a white man, 2 white people that got killed is not really no different, because of the fact that they see these type of white people as traitors, race traitors, because we're talking about white nationalism. You know, these are the same far-right extremists that Christopher Wray talked about, and before Congress said that there would be the threat. Trump hired them. This is almost in a situation where, as if Trump actually got away with the January 6th insurrection back in 2021. What would have been the difference? He would have went after his same people that he believed that were the enemy, the ones that did what they did to him as far as stole the election. This is what's happening right now. They're going after the people as far as in Minnesota, because Tim Walz was one of the people that were on the ticket of the Democratic, on the Democratic side with him and Kamala Harris. And one of the major things is that white people is that they're outnumbered by the evil ones. They're sadistic. These are the people that will go and watch the descendants of the people that will go and watch a hanging of an innocent black person and not come from 50 miles around, bring their children in tow and a lunch, and they wait to see if they can get a piece of the body after they burn it or whatever they do with it. These are the people that support this. These are sadistic people. It has nothing to do with immigration. This is a move for a holy war of these so-called Christian nationalists, because there's nothing Christian, there's nothing in their heart about them that has any type of brotherly love or anything like that, understanding of people. These are the same people that will, like I said, they would take a child and they would feed him to an alligator or use alligator bait. These are the people that support this. Don't get no bones about it. That is the white majority. The white majority support this. And they don't care about the ones that are backing it, the ones that are trying to stand up, that have empathy, they have a conscience. These people don't have conscience. There's no trying to talk to them. You can't say it's just the 30%. No, it's the white majority and it's still the white majority of women support this. They support them because they're the ones birthing them. They're the ones birthing them sick bastards. So this is what's going to happen. This is going on, and it's going to keep going on. And then for all those black people that are saying, no, this is not our fight, 80% of most people, even when there's something that's directly at them, they're not going to get involved anyway. They're going to sit there. They're going to hide. They're going to cower in a corner. They're not going to get involved. It's only going to be like 20%. Like when you're going back into the 1960s, there wasn't a bunch of black people getting up trying to stand up for civil rights. Most of the people waiting, they were talking about, oh, this is not going to happen. These people are just making trouble and this, that, and the other. This is, we got to keep things. You never change. Those are the type of people there that are talking about, oh, this is not a fight. Or when somebody else does stand up or says something, they feel like, oh, they can't do nothing because, he just talking stuff. No, because only 5% of the 20% that stands up as far as that get actively involved will get physically involved. So this is what happens when you try to tell people that, because they have this type of form of talking, that means that they feel like they got something they're going to say that's going to make difference. I would bet you that most of the people never went out, stood out in any type of protest or any type of thing other than the fact that they're just out trying to be what they call, PSYOP agents. You know, those people that counterinsurgency is all about when you do the government and they try to stop insurrection or insurgents, people that stand up. They try to use disinformation to negatively even impact the people trying to do the standing up and do what they do is what they feel as far as doing the right thing. So a lot of those people there, oh, this is not out there. No, those are just cowards. Those are like this when during the game, the people that would talk stuff on the street and they get caught, then they turn into snitches. And then what they do is they try to justify that snitching by saying everybody does it. You know, everybody's snitching. You know, no, everybody ain't doing that shit. There's only a small amount of guys who stand up and they just go through. They'll go to trial or whatever. They take their time. You know, listen, it falls on me because I did this. You know, I'm not going to bring nobody down, but the majority of them will bring you down. I've seen it myself. So these are the same people talking that stuff about, oh, you know, this is not a fight. Those, because they're cowards. They're going to sit there and they'll say, I'm not going to do nothing. Then you shouldn't do nothing. Because it makes them feel safe that everybody else is there. But you already have enough of you because it's 80% ain't going to do a goddamn thing. They can call up and say black nigga and all the type of stuff and come in here and nigga to surrender, put your hands up, don't shoot shit. And that's how it's going to end up. For most, it's going to only be that little bit that stands up, does something, and then you're going to come out clapping and hooray and all that type of shit after it's all done. Where's my part of this, that, and the other? Those are the type of people saying it. Because if you're not adding support to people trying to do something that stops something that's wrong, then you're part of the problem. Because anybody that watched that video saw, as I saw it in slow motion, frame by frame, they removed the gun from the man on the ground. The cop or agent had that gun. He went back and pulled off and started across the street. Other guy pulls his gun out while the guy is laying on his stomach and shoots him straight in the back after his gun's removed. So all this stuff about he was pulling his gun out, he never pulled his gun out once. They instigated the whole thing, trying to push him because he's filming. And all these people that claim to be, oh, I'm a patriot, don't tread on me, Second Amendment people, I'll tell you who they are. They're not here because of the fact that, you know, they talk about the government taking their rights away and they need the gun for the Second Amendment rights to defend themselves. These are the people that were just upset about civil rights and the fact that black people were getting rights from the government by, you know, having equal rights. So, you know what I mean? It wasn't about the government abusing them. White people never oppressed them. They never had any fear of oppression. They were fear of the anxiety of racial anxiety, so that they can do that. That's what that was about. Because they had not one of them stood up and said anything that this was wrong. None of them go to any black protest, any type of police brutality. They never show up and say, "Hey, this is my gun. I'm standing here because I know how the government acts. Wherever it's at, I need to be. You know, justice anywhere is a threat to justice anywhere, everywhere." They're not those type of people. That don't tread on me and all that type of stuff is the fact that the government, they felt, was giving too much to black people. That's why you don't hear nothing from them. That's why those are the ones that are on ice now. For all that shit you can, you know, throw to the wind, you know, it's just a bunch of crap that they've been talking for years. And now you can see for yourself that that's who they are. That was the whole plan. I need my guns. Because why? Not because of the government tyranny, it's because they felt like the government was giving too many rights to black people. This is nothing more than a instigated race war. The same way they did in Venezuela. They could bomb the place. They can go to places that they feel like they can get and they can win. But the only thing that they understand is that with all that talk about the War Department. See, that guy, that Pete Hegseth, he's too young to know about what that Vietnam and about that fracking, the fragging they call fragging. Go look up what fragging is. That's what they're gonna face. They think they're hiding on them bases, them army bases, military bases. Go check out what fragging means. When people who don't understand or don't like being pushed into something, what those soldiers were doing in Vietnam, and they think they're safe on those bases. This is a war. This is a war against black people as far as rights, because black people are the only people that really stand up. The white people that are doing it now, they're the same people that would have stood up. They don't want the ones who voted for Trump. You ain't got to tell them, oh, I told you so. These aren't the I told you so white people. The I told you so white people are still supporting Trump. It's the white majority. They're sick. You look at the comments online. They're sick bastards. Oh, they should have listened. The same people that talk about how the January 6th people were they were convicted by the government. They weren't doing nothing. They were just peacefully exercising their right. Beating the shit out of cops. You can't deal with people who have such a twisted, two-faced, psychopathic, sociopathic, sadistic mindset. There's no reasoning with them. But you got to have no bones about it. The white majority still supports this shit. So don't be talking about the 30%. You got to specifically say who that 30% is, and that's that white majority. That's the one that's been having this legacy of what this going on now. That's been perpetuating this type of stuff for 500 years. They enjoy it because of the fact that they want to get back to doing that murder. They get a thrill out of people dying, innocent people dying. They'll blame a child, like a 5-year-old child. Oh, he did that. Those are the type of people there. They have not changed. And if you feel like you're a white person and feel like you got to say something, or you're just part of the problem. If you don't think you're that person, you better say something. You better put a red mark on your head, a green something on your mind, or something like that to let you know you're not part of that stuff. Because when it comes back and the backlash comes and it really turns around, and it's going to turn around fast, you better be one of those that said, I wasn't with this. I show you I wasn't with it.